by the Home Depot with John, Jimmy, Kenny too, Hermie and Wendy, the race day crew, talking about everything under the sun, laughing loud and having fun. Before the race is the place to be. They're gonna cover your need for speed. Hey, hey, it's race day, stars and stripes and high octane. Hallelujah, bow your heads and pray. Pennsylvania, Pocono, look at Mark Martin putting on a show. Jimmy Johnson got a Brickyard win, but does he ever rise up and take a checkered again? Drivers and crews put to the test, cause it's a 500-mile left turn lap fast. Keep it straight, try not to tangle. You're running wide open on a tricky triangle. Hey, hey, it's race day, stars and stripes and high octane. Hallelujah, bow your heads and pray. RVs, crew chiefs, every fan upon your seat. I love it when I see that black man wave. Bring your race, race day.
Pennsylvania rain was the only winner on Sunday in Pocono. Storms, weepers, and time worked against NASCAR, and competitors got one more day to think about 500 miles of racing here in the Poconos. The sun is out, the track is dry, and we're ready for a full day of racing on this huge triangle. Jimmy Johnson is on a roll. He was fast in practice, and he is still celebrating his third Brickyard victory as the only driver to win 2 in a row. On the other side, it's Kyle Busch. A bad Brickyard put the 18 team outside of the top 12, and now they are fighting against the clock and 12 other competitors. Points leader Tony Stewart will start last for the second time here this year after a practice crash relegated him to the back of the field. But we all remember what happened last time. Tony Stewart came from the back and won at Pocono. Can history repeat itself? We don't know that, but we do know this. It is a beautiful day for racing here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, and we're going green flag racing on time.
Crowd going wild already.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a bonus edition of NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot from Victory Lane here. Now, we're going to end up here at the end of the race with one very happy driver, but right now, everybody at this racetrack is very happy that we are going green flag racing today. Spence, I know you love this place. It's your hometown. Kenny Wallace just loves being anywhere.
Oh, I love racing in Pocono. It's hot in her. It's unbelievable. Yesterday.
Wait a second, hotter?
It's hot in her.
Don't ask, Spencer.
Yeah. Hey,
I love my
you
man.
know, Nelly says that out of St. Louis. But anyway, listen, race fans, here's what it's all about today. For 3 days, we've had torrential downpour. We've had rain coming out of the racetrack. The teams have practiced in all sorts of different weather. They don't know what's going to happen now. First time it's been almost 80 degrees here, Spence. They're going to have adjustability built into the car. They're going to have to know what to do and make changes quick.
The big thing is you can't ask for a more picture-perfect day. Definitely Chamber of Commerce
Did
ordered
you say
this day.
picture?
Picture.
Okay.
Picture.
Don't ask, Kenny.
Well, we need to sell them dictionaries.
Yeah. We got
And,
Spictionaries.
the neat thing about Pocono fans, very, very tricky racetrack. Drivers, crew members don't get to adjust these cars today. What they had for yesterday, cloudy, overcast day, they're stuck with today, hot and sunny. It's going to get slick. It's going to get greasy. A lot of pit stops. Look forward to a heck of a race today, Johnny.
Well, you know, our Wendy Venturini is not a meteorologist, but she plays one on TV over the last couple of days. And Wendy, I am happy to say today, I know you have some good news to report to us.
I sure do. It is race day this Monday morning. It's not Groundhog Day because I'm not wearing a garbage bag, so I know today is different. Well, this is where it says Wendy's standing by the radar, and I've decided I don't need no stinking radar. Look at the sky. Blue, sunny skies today. Today's forecast, very warm, very sunny. It's about 70, so it's actually pretty comfortable in Pocono. Humidity cut in half today, only 51%. Sunny, 6-mile-an-hour wind. No problem for weather. 0% chance of rain today. Now, things weren't so sunny for Tony Stewart earlier this weekend in Saturday's first practice session. He had to go to a backup car, and our points leader, who was going to start on the pole due to qualifying being rained out and starting by points, will have to start in the rear of the field because of that backup car. Now, for more on this racetrack, a lot has happened in 24 hours regarding the track conditions and what these teams can do from yesterday to today in the rain. For more on that, let's head over to my dear friend, Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Wendy. First thing we want to do is give kudos to NASCAR and this track crew behind me. This process has basically been going on non-stop since yesterday, all the rain that's going on. There was no way they were going to run this race yesterday, and NASCAR made the right decision. We do not want this chase to be impacted on a situation where the racetrack is not raceable and somebody gets in trouble, like in California last year when they raced with a wet racetrack, causing somebody some problems. Not only are they digging holes in this racetrack and drying the weepers, they went outside of this racetrack and dug holes outside of the track for the water to collect and put sand down. A great job by NASCAR and all these track workers to get this racetrack in raceable condition. Now, Jimmy Spencer mentioned the cars being impounded. Well, John Darby says they're taking that one step further. In a normal impound situation, at least the crew chiefs can make wedge adjustments and track bar adjustments. Today, they cannot touch these race cars. I said, John Darby, what can these crew chiefs do to these cars today? The weather is sunny today. He said, Hermie, nothing but warm the engine up and go on the racetrack. So these guys are going to have to be able to adjust these cars during the course of the race today. If this racetrack is definitely going to change, but no changes to these cars before they go on the racetrack today, JR.
Hermie, thanks a lot. A lot of unknowns when it comes to today's race, but here is what we do know as we check out the championship standings. We know it is very tight now from 8th through 12th, but let's take a look. So many championships among these three guys, and they are your favorites right now to make the chase. Although they're not mathematically in yet, they're pretty much realistically in.
Well, 9 championships between these guys. Absolutely unheard of, Kenny. They're already locked in for the 2009 Sprint Cup Championship.
I always say that some of these drivers you're looking at right now are some of the greatest in the United States. They can run on dirt, they run road courses. But for me, race fans, I love a show, and the show's coming up here in just a little bit. Check this one out.
What's interesting, 5th, 6th, 7th, none of those guys won a race yet. But yet, Casey Kane has won 1, Mark's won 3, Juan Pablo should have won last week, the Biff hasn't won, Matt Kenseth with 2. This is incredible. Kenny, how about this guy in 12th?
Hey, how about Kyle Busch?
14th.
Kyle Busch has won 3 races. He would be sitting in the top 3 if we went to the chase for the championship right now. But he is not in it. Kyle Busch has had all sorts of problems the last couple of races. And
Johnny, you've picked Brian Vickers. He's right there. He's close.
He may make it in. Let's hope he makes it in and makes our predictions right. But here's a number for you. 53. 53 points separates 8th through 12th. 53 points is just a couple of positions on the racetrack in any given race.
And to think, race fans, that we were all mad at NASCAR some 5 to 6 years ago. We all said, how dare you, NASCAR, change our old rules. Race fans, they all sat down and they got a lot of thought put into it, Spence. I mean, this is the best thing that's ever happened in our sport. You know, the change for the racer to chase, and then this double file restart. We will look back at this era in our sport and go, man, the points, the double file restart, Spence, I think it's incredible time right now in our sport.
And I think NASCAR has made a lot of changes for the positive. There's no question, this double file restart, the drivers don't like it. Hey, I really don't care. What I like about the double file restarts we're seeing racing. At Chicago, I saw one of the ultimate finishes in all of motorsports, especially when you have 4 or 5 guys have a shot of winning. The other thing that NASCAR has done, they have put emphasis on these 10 races. These guys, if you're not one of these 12, you're second, you're dog meat. Forget about it.
Here's the dog food.
And the reason why, these 10 races determine the Sprint Cup champion. So you have 12 guys that have a shot at the championship now. In years past, we saw Matt Kenseth win it by 300-400 points. We saw the late Dale Earnhardt win 7 championships. God, would Earnhardt Sr. love this chase format.
We have seen a chase championship being won, the first one, by less than 10 points. So who knows what's going to happen this year. But we knew we were getting closer and closer to green flag racing here at Pocono. When we come back, we got 2 guys that are going to figure into this chase race, Matt Kenseth and Greg Biffle. Stick around.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit homedepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Welcome back to Pocono, everyone. 6 races to go. 6 to go before the cutoff to the chase. Now, normally, over the past few years, we have said if you're not in the chase, you're a second-class citizen. But today, Spencer has decided to take that one more level and say, if you're not in the chase, you're dog meat. But the chase standings took a huge shakeup after Indy.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup standings got shuffled every which way after the All-State 400 at the Brickyard. Now just 162 points separate 9th and 15th place on the leaderboard. And with just 6 races left in the regular season, the chase is far from being set.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Indy was a disappointment for Kyle Busch and Juan Pablo Montoya. Kyle's blown tire earned him a 38th place finish, which dropped him 4 large down to 14th place.
Heavy damage to the right side of Kyle Busch's Toyota.
Montoya had a car that couldn't be beat.
And he is pulling away from the competition.
There's nobody close, man. Focus on the track.
He was on his way to becoming the first driver to win both the Indy 500 and the Brickyard until NASCAR charged him with a speeding penalty on pit road.
Too fast entering, pass through.
This is going to be devastating.
There's no way. I was on the green. Okay, so relax. What do you want me to relax, dude? We had this in the bag.
Montoya finished 11th, but even that wasn't enough to gain any positions. In fact, he lost a spot, falling to 10th.
That's what it is, you know. Once it happens, you can't change it, so pretty frustrating, but shows where we're going with the team.
Hell of a recovery. Been a rough couple weeks. Thanks, guys. Good weekend.
On the other hand, Greg Biffle moved up 2 notches into chase contention as he scored a top 5 alongside Mark Martin.
Jimmy Johnson's mirrors are full of the number 5 of Mark Martin.
And Brian Vickers.
Kissing the brakes would have been nice, but if it meant risking a top 5, I don't think it was worth it. You know, our goal is to chase, and I think we're still in striking distance.
And it was top 10s for Matt Kenseth and David Rudiman, who reside in 12th and 13th place respectively.
We just got to get running better and get finishing better, but I'm certainly happy with 10th for how we've been doing lately.
We can gain a little bit, not lose any. That's a good deal.
Another game of musical chairs will be played in the standings as the race to the chase heats up today at Pocono.
Now, one thing a champion in any sport has to have, and that is a bad memory. Juan Pablo Montoya wants to forget about what happened and now look towards the future. 9th through 12th right now, separated, gentlemen, by only 42 points.
And you know, Johnny, when I look at Kenny and I were talking, and I think Mark Martin and Juan Pablo's good road racers. Kenny, but you bring a good point up. That's going to be the wild card.
You know, we always talk about Talladega, Daytona being the wild card. Here is the wild card. Everybody knows how much I like David Rudiman. I am rooting him on. I'm worried about Watkins Glen next week.
Now, what you see on the bottom of your screen is the Pocono finishes from the last time we were here, as you see David Rudiman finish 3rd.
Yeah, that was big. And, you know, this is going to be important. This track's changed from when we were here in July till now. And, you know, I don't believe that the track's going to be the same, no question about it. But yet on the other side, I don't believe this is as big a wild card as I agree with Kenny and Glenn.
Because we have the top 12 starting up front with the exception of a points leader, Tony Stewart. He'll go to the back of the pack, but everybody else in the chase will have an advantage to begin this race. Now, Matt Kenseth is one of the coolest customers in the garage area, but Wendy Venturini, we can imagine even Matt is feeling the pressure right now to chase.
He sure is in that 12th spot. We just saw a 68-point lead. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to get the business out of the way. The business is this news surrounding Matt Kenseth's sponsor come 2010. DeWalt, parting ways with Roush Fenway Racing after having the yellow and black colors for 10 years. It's going to be different to see you in the color I'm sporting today, the Crown Royal colors for 18 races next year.
Yeah, that's going to be really different. Really sad to see DeWalt go. They've been a big part of my career and getting me to where we're at and helping this team out a lot. So it's been, I think, 11 or 12 seasons, including the Nationwide Series we had in '99. So it's going to be tough to see them guys go.
And we do know that Crown Royal will be joining Matt Kenseth. But for today, business here at Pocono. What do you expect out of today's race? We know that's not a lot of pad for you, 68 points ahead of 13th. What is the focus and the goal? Do you go out for wins or just a good solid finish?
Well, honestly, we haven't been running good enough to really seriously be considered serious contender really to win races. So we're just trying to improve, trying to get running better every week. And the main thing we got to do that for whatever reason we haven't been able to do this year is just finish better. We've ran pretty good at times. We ran around here 3rd or 4th the whole first race here, and couldn't make it on fuel at the end and ended up finishing 16th. So we just have to at least finish as good as we're running, really to have a shot. I'm real thankful we're 12th in points, really the way most of the year has gone. So hopefully we get running better here for the next 5 or 6 weeks and make it in.
Now, what have you heard about the racetrack? I don't know if you've checked it out yourself, but with the weepers in turn 1, is it a concern for the drivers today?
Well, it's going to be the same for everybody, and I'm not going to be the first one of the corner starting 12th, so that's good. But I'm sure there's going to be some water problems that we're just going to have to deal with and work around and kind of pick out where it's coming out and where it's not. Because when you get the way the cars in the track, it's probably going to make the water come out a little bit more. But we do have a nice, warm, sunny day here today, and hopefully when we get all the cars out there, it'll get dried up.
I do have to say congratulations. First time you're joining us on NASCAR Race Day since Kaylin was born 4 weeks ago. Your wife, Katie, is here this weekend with the first race, 4 weeks old Kaylin. So congratulations. How's the new baby going for the last 4 weeks?
It's been going good. Thursday night she didn't like the motorhome, and by Saturday night she really grew to enjoy it and has been sleeping pretty well. Easy for me to say, I don't have to get up with her, but she's been sleeping pretty good, and it's been nice to have them both at the track.
Yes, it has been nice to seeing Katie. She looks like she's doing great as a new mom. Let's head over to Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Wendy. And I have one of Matt's teammates, Greg Biffle. Greg, last week had to be a big week for you guys. You guys that struggled for the 4 weeks out of that before that, got outside the chase. A good solid top 5 got you back inside. How do you keep that momentum going?
Well, we keep it going because we got some great racetracks coming up. We love racing here at Pocono and Watkins Glen. I like road racing in Michigan. So I think we got 3 or 4 good tracks coming. And that's the way we've run all season, the way we ran last week. The weeks prior to that hasn't been the way we've been running. So I feel good about the team. We're back on track. We got some momentum because of last week. We'll carry it through today. Good run today will get us going to Watkins Glen in Michigan and get us back in that chase.
You know better than most, this racetrack, when it's hot and slick, can be a handful. Hadn't had a whole lot of time on the track, obviously none since the rain. What concerns do you have before you take the green flag today?
Well, I'm concerned with, we were planning on the setup being a little bit cooler out, so the track will be hot and slick today, and we're just going to have to adjust for that. I think for the first 20 laps, I think our car is going to be pretty good. After that, we're going to have to adjust on it to keep up with the track.
Same question Wendy asked Matt. You're right there on that cut line. How do you balance between wanting to win races and also knowing a good solid top 5s will really help you get locked in?
Well, I mean, a lot of it just depends on the situation. I mean, we're going to go for the win, but we can't jeopardize, our track position. But certainly we're going to be driving hard because, the more positions we get, the more points we're going to have. So we want to get the 3 and 4 Fusion in victory lane.
All these guys balancing, JR, trying to figure out, hey, do I get aggressive and go for the win, or do I want to get locked in? A good run today will be good for Greg Biffle. As he said, a lot of good racetracks coming up for him in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Hermie, thanks a lot. The Biff's got 1 top 5 here, a 4th place finish. And remember, last season, he was dominating this race when he blew up. So look for the Biff to run well today. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, much more on this extended edition of NASCAR Race Day on a Monday morning. This weekend, NASCAR twists and turns its way to Watkins Glen. Can Casey Kane make all the right turns for a clean sweep of the road course? As the race to the chase intensifies, this is no time for any competitor to get off course. NASCAR on Speed, be there. Welcome back, race fans, to a bonus edition of NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, coming to you actually from Victory Lane here at the Pocono Raceway. The first Cup race was here back in 1974, and these older, flatter racetracks with older asphalt can be about as temperamental as any when it comes to weather and changing conditions. In Hermie Sadler, we've changed from the last race, and we've also changed, from the last hour or so.
Yeah, I mean, this racetrack is unique for a lot of reasons. Number one, 3 corners, 3 different corners that challenge these drivers and crew chiefs. But it's also unique because we come here 6 weeks apart. No other racetrack is like that on the circuit. And you would think by coming back only 6 weeks later, you could run the same stuff and same setup and have the same results. But as we heard from some crew chiefs early this weekend, that's not necessarily the case.
The biggest challenge, the second race, is it's set in the summer and it's gotten some temperature to it and a little bit of grip goes away. Second race is usually a little bit slower than the first race, from the grip aspect. Here at Pocono, man, it's pretty slick. You chase the weather more than anything. If the sun pops out during the race, you go loose. If it gets cloudy, you get tight. It's very difficult to keep up with the racetrack here.
It seems like it's rougher now than it was when we were here before. All the drivers are complaining about it being a little bumpier. And a lot of it's, a lot of rain and the soil underneath the asphalt, starts to get little cavities in it, and then it starts getting rough and wavy like an interstate. So it does that every race. It changes, every year it gets worse, and then each race it seems to get a little bit worse.
The biggest thing is the track just loses grip over the couple months from rain and sunshine, and so it loses a lot of grip, and it changes, what you got to do to hook the back up. Is the biggest thing we seem to fight is we end up getting too free off. And once you get it turning decent, it's way too free off. So the biggest thing is trying to hook the back up.
In general, I would say from the first race to the second race, even though there's not but 6 weeks in between them, is just the track just loses grip. The sun beats on it up here. The weather being a little hotter in the summer, humid. You just fight. Whatever you fought in the spring, it's just that much harder to correct it in the second race because the track just has that much less grip.
And I tell you, you take all those normal circumstances that cause issues for the crew chiefs and drivers and add to the fact that we've had rain all weekend, no practice, cannot work on the car this morning at all, and you've got a recipe for some guys having long days on this racetrack. Now, for more news on today's event, let's go over to Wendy Venturini.
Thanks, Hermie. While the track changes from June to August, the news changes from yesterday to today. We have some updates, one of them being JTG Doherty, and their owner, Tad Geschechter, made the announcement, I'll get it straight, that they are going to continue on their alliance with Michael Waltrip Racing through 2010. Now, their driver in the 47, Marcus Ambrose, was signed up through 2011, so we'll have to keep you posted if they decide to extend that too. Now, this Monday race schedule throws a little, crimp into the plans. According to the trip to the White House, 2008 Chase contenders were headed to meet President Barack Obama, and that has to be put on hold due to today's race. So, unfortunately, those drivers will not be making that trip to the White House today. They'll be here in Pocono, and they're going to have to wait. I'm sure Jimmy Spencer's invite to the White House got lost in the mail. And in other news, when we leave here in Pocono, there's no rest for the weary. A lot of these teams and drivers are headed to Dover, Delaware for a Goodyear tire test tomorrow and Wednesday. Some of those drivers include Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Marcus Ambrose, and many others who will make that trek to Dover and continue on to Watkins Glen come Thursday. Kenny Wallace, how would you like to be that person to make the call to the White House? Hi, Mr. President, we're a little bit busy today. We really don't have time for you. That would not be fun.
And you know what? That's the life of a race car driver, Wendy. I want to comment on Tad Geschechter and Brad Daugherty's alliance with Michael Waltrip Racing. How smart everybody is here. Michael Waltrip and his friend Rob Kaufman, they know that Tad Geschechter is good at getting sponsors. Then Tad Geschechter and Brad Daugherty, they know that Michael Waltrip's got the in at Toyota. They got great race cars. I think they're really smart at teaming up with Michael Waltrip, and this is the reason why. It's the new thing in NASCAR. Look at Ford. Jack Roush owns all of Ford race cars. He supplies the motors. He's building the cars. Then you go over and you look at Stuart Haas. They're teaming up with Rick Hendricks. There's another 6 cars. You say, how? Well, Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman, they run Hendrick Motors, Hendrick Cars. So see, race fans, my point is that everybody is making alliances now. So good job on Tad Geschechter, Michael Waltrip, in my opinion, Spence.
Good point. They sent me an invite to Washington State, not Washington, D.C. You know what? Hang on a second. You crew chiefs are, I don't want to say they're complaining, but let's face it. That's what the heck makes Pocono so special. This track was built in the late 60s, early 70s, first race 1972. They didn't have the technology. That's what makes Pocono unique. All this snow and ice. I was born and raised here, man. I love it. I like to hear a track have character. That's what the hell makes a great race. We're going to see a great race today. Yes, we're going to lose grip. It's the guy that makes the right adjustments. It's not Indianapolis. It's not picture perfect. That's what I like about Pocono, Johnny.
The 2 claims to fame for this part of the country, the Pocono Raceway and Jimmy Spencer.
Yeah, baby.
We're going to take a quick break. Come back. We're going to talk about the situation the number 18 is in. Will he make the chase or won't he? We'll talk about it when we come back live to Pocono.
After 3 wins in the first 10, Kyle has hit a rough patch. Or 2. Or 3. And now finds himself out of the top 12. We'll give you the rub on Shrubs 09. Straight ahead, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Welcome back to a special live edition of NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot from Pocono. You know, ever since Kyle Busch, as a young driver, came from Las Vegas to NASCAR's top series, he's been a championship contender. But now he finds himself on the outside looking in, and time is not on the side of the show.
Guys, it looks like we blew it right front.
Kyle Busch taking a big hit today. He could fall out of the top 12 before it's all over.
Kyle Busch's Indy heartbreak dropped him 4 spots out of the top 12 with just 6 races to go until the chase. He's been to victory lane 3 times so far, but also has 9 finishes outside the top 20. When Rowdy's good, he's very, very good. But when things go bad, they're horrid.
Vickers hard. Kyle Busch, the dominant car of the day, in the wall.
That wreck has sent 3 contenders that would have had a shot to win here to the garage area.
83 finally did something today. Go to the garage.
You know, some guys having some bad days and not doing their best out there just made their bad day our bad day, and you know, we had a problem.
Kyle Busch was trying to gain some racing room.
He got left rear cut down.
He'll come to pit road under green.
On that quarter panel, pull on the quarter panel, too. Get ready, I'll be coming again. Fire up, get a damn baseball bat.
Well, this isn't Martinsville. You can't beat and bang like this at these speeds.
Give me the driver's name. There's Andretti. What I thought.
He was unhappy with that 34 car. Probably wouldn't get out of the way fast enough. So he's going to give me a little message about, hey, dude, move it. He ended up paying the price for that little move.
Trouble turn 1. Kyle Busch slams the outside wall. Right front tire appeared to give way. Just not entering the turn number 1.
Go to the garage. There's no brake rotors, so I'll drive into everything on my way there.
So last year's winner and last night's almost winner will not go to victory lane tonight.
Tony looks to make the move. He swings to the high side. Kyle blocks. Tony gets it to Kyle. He hits the wall, and several more cars spin at the start-finish line. A spectacular move, but you knew it was going to be something like that.
Kyle Busch has just about knocked down the wall in turn 3.
No turn up off the corner, no straightaway speed, no aerodynamics behind people. I'm trying to fix the car. You want to try to get the handling better right here and just try to get our lap back this run. If we don't, then get to work on the crush panel, or is it too much for you? I don't care. We're not going to get our lap back. I'm not worried about it.
Look at the right side of this race car. That tells you exactly what kind of night it's been for driver Busch.
I think leaving pits tell you what kind of night it's been for Kyle Busch, because you heard him, man. He was just hammering that thing.
One car goes around all by himself, and it's Kyle Busch. A bad night just got worse.
Kyle Busch teetering on the brink of being out of the chase right now after a rough night here in Chicagoland.
As we take a look at what a difference a year makes for some of the title contenders last year, see how far some of them have fallen. Let's keep in mind that Kyle Busch has not had a good time at this racetrack over the years, Kenny.
Well, Kyle Busch simply has to start working on the handling of his race car. You look at Junior, I mean, he's just been struggling. Nobody knows the problem. And, of course, Jimmy Spencer has been commenting on Childress Racing. They're starting to get their act together, Spence.
Yeah, finally, I think it's too late. They have one shot at it with Clint Boyer, but, you know, Burt not having the year he wanted. But I want to get back to Kyle Busch when he said, we ain't got a chance of making our lap up. This is a team, Kyle. You know, you can't deflate everybody. I know you're upset with what happened there, but you see the look on his crew chief's face. To me, we saw what happened last week with the team failure, communications at Indianapolis. Picture the 48 team. If you're going to try to defeat this championship, have a positive attitude, the Carl Edwards attitude.
You know, and what they're saying right now, the big story in the garage area is that, you know, Coach Joe Gibbs has just come out with this new book that they're advertising throughout the United States. They're saying Coach Joe Gibbs told Kyle Busch, hey, Kyle, understand what I'm trying to teach you. So I'm hearing that Kyle Busch is going to become a leader, and that's what Steve Addington said yesterday. Maybe we'll see some change, Spence.
Well, I don't like to do this, but this is the second time. Dale Earnhardt Sr., you never saw it in him. But, baby, when he'd get in that truck, he'd kick cans and he'd do all kind of funny things. He is a 7-time champion. That's why.
Well, for more on the number 18 team, let's go down to Hermie Sadler. Hermie?
Well, thank you, JR. And the bottom line is, here's the question. Will Kyle Busch make the chase, or will he not make the chase? And here's my take on Kyle Busch. Number one, we know from what we see on the racetrack that he's one of the most talented race car drivers we've seen in our sport in a long, long time. What we do not know about Kyle Busch is when he gets behind, is he able to focus and catch up? Last year, going into the chase, he had to be the favorite. He was on top of the world. Well, he stumbled a little bit at Loudon, and that team was never able to catch back up, never able to put together a string of solid runs to get him back in this chase. Well, right now, he's on the outside looking in. Can he put all the distractions aside, wheel this number 18 back into the chase? We don't know, but I can tell you this. Today is a big race for him. In my opinion, he needs a solid top 5 or top 10 today to get back inside, because he's better from being in front rather than trying to catch up, JR.
Hermie, thanks a lot. We've said it before. We'll say it again. The one thing a true champion has to have is a bad memory.
Yeah, but them M&Ms are good.
Why do we know you say that? We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll jump up in the car and drive around this big triangle at Pocono. And we'll also take you right up to race time live here on Race Day. Welcome back, everyone, to a special live edition of NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, coming to you from the Poconos on a Monday. Beautiful scenery around here, but ugly weather yesterday led to us racing on the big triangle on a Monday. Points leader Tony Stewart is in a backup car after this Saturday practice crash, and he looks to complete the 2009 season sweep here at Pocono. If he does it, he'll be the 7th driver. Jimmy Johnson climbed to 2nd in points with his 3rd Brickyard 400 win last weekend, and now he will try to chip into Smoke's lead this afternoon. Strap in and hang on, everyone. NASCAR Race Day is live from Pocono. Let's take a look at the points now. 9 championships among these 3 guys, and they are the favorites this year. And look at the distance. Even though Jimmy Johnson won, Mr. Spencer, at the Brickyard, look at the difference between him and Smoke. 192 points.
A lot of points, but it'll all be changed.
It'll go
after Richmond.
So as we take a look a little bit down further in the points, we got 4th through 7th, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, Hamlin, and Ryan Newman. Not a win among these 4 drivers.
I can't believe Carl Edwards, Denny Hamlin haven't won yet.
I'm sorry, Kurt Busch won. Kurt Busch won Atlanta.
Yeah.
Sorry. And now we have the place where it really gets tight. 8 through 12 is Kane, Martin, Montoya, Biffle, and Kenseth. 53 points separates those drivers. 68 separates the 13th through the 12th spot. So now let's jump up inside the race car and go for one of the long laps around this 2.5-mile huge triangle here in Pocono.
Very unique racetrack here, fans. We're coming by the big pylon, the start-finish line. Used to shift right. They used to put that baby in high gear. Can't shift no more. Longest straightaway in all of motorsports. And let me tell you what, here we go into turn 1. Super lot of bumps. What I love about this racetrack, years ago, used to all be all the way down on that white line. If you weren't on the white line, you were nobody. You had to be on that white line to be fast. The key here, they don't shift. Now we head into this long, the short straightaway to that tunnel turn, Kenny.
And of course, the new car has changed the way you drive. Let's listen. Okay, now the curb right there, if you hit that curb, that will ruin your day. Here we are down into turn 3. They say they patterned this turn after the Milwaukee Mile. Now, what I want everybody to notice, see this real black area? That is new asphalt. The drivers noticed right away, hey, if I go up there, there's a lot of grip. That's why nobody runs the bottom anymore.
Look at how wide that pit road opening is. Best pit road in all of motorsports. There's no question here as a Pocono. You will not have any problems. But it is a long pit road, guys. We see them getting busted for this pit road speed. It could happen again today. Boy, I'll tell you, you lose a lot of time.
And here's an idea of just how big the front stretch is here at Pocono. You can take Bristol, stretch it out, and it still won't go the distance of the distance between turns 3 and 1.
It was time to get a sandwich.
Hey.
On the way, when you come off the corner, you can eat a sandwich by the time
Some of these guys might even try to Twitter the way things are going.
Real quick, we roasted my brother Rusty on Friday night in Iowa. Robin Pemberton told a story talking about having time to eat a sandwich.
I remember that.
Dale Earnhardt in turns 1 and 2 at Martinsville Speedway. Earnhardt had so much power steering. Him and Bill Elliott used to drive like that. And I'm serious, race fans. They would drive like this. They didn't have the good seats. They would put their arm up against the bar. Ask anybody in the garage area. Those guys used to drive with one hand. So maybe they did it here.
Yeah, and Darrell Waltrip won all his races at Bristol because Hammond and them, I don't want to say cheated, but they bent the rules on this head brace. Nobody was supposed to have a head brace, but old Darrell would sneak it in. Incredible, John.
And if they ate a Martinsville hot dog while they were driving, that would be something definitely to talk about. When we come back, the youngest winner ever in Sprint Cup Series history comes by to visit us live on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Well, always time to have a little bit of fun during a rain delay, after a rain delay, while you're waiting. That pass is complete and good for a touchdown. But, you know, when young drivers come to this racetrack, it's one of the most challenging on the circuit. A couple years ago, Denny Hamlin got the pole and won the first time he ever came to this track, and he credited a lot of his success to video games, to playing Pocono on the video game. Now, if anybody knows about video games, I believe it is Wendy Venturini's next guest.
Yes, I'm sure Joey Logano knows a thing about those video games, having GameStop in the Nationwide Series. He didn't need video games to get to victory lane in the spring ARCA race here, because that was your experience at Pocono. Now we're coming around a second time for the Cup Series for you. What do you expect out of today's race with the green racetrack and all the rain and the little track time that we have gotten?
Well, the good news is it's the same for everybody, so I got that going for me. But it's amazing how much, I don't want to say easier, but it is a little bit easier to dial your car in. You know, when you've been here once and you kind of know what you're looking for, you know what you fought last time. So that helped us a lot. We didn't unload great with the Home Depot Toyota, but I felt like we made big improvements with it. So hopefully start the race and just start chugging forward and see where we end up.
I know you're looking forward to the second half of the season. We're starting to return, like you said, to a lot of the racetracks you had only been to once before. Today, going into today's race, 19th in points, the highest you have gotten in points all season. You have nothing but improved every week. It's got to make you feel a little bit better now that we're headed back to some of these tracks.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we keep going forward. You know, I think, you know, after we've got through that first part of the season, now we're getting even closer. And I think as we come to these places second time like here, you know, keep improving. I think this place is even tougher. Even your second time, I still don't think you're up to par yet. So I'm getting there. I think by the time we leave here today, we'll be pretty good.
All right, good things going on for Joey Logano. And I do have to tell you, race fans, yesterday after the garage area closed, he was very gracious enough to sign a lot of autographs for those race fans waiting outside the fence like this from the motorhome lot. True professional, Joey Logano. Let's head over to Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Wendy. Standing by Juan Pablo Montoya. Now, this race 6 weeks ago, to me, was a big race for you guys. You didn't run like you wanted to all day, but at the end, found a way to get a top 10, kept that momentum going. But this weekend, I think your car's a lot faster.
The car is a lot faster. You know, everybody at Target, you know, team is doing an amazing job. We've got a great car, and you know, to be honest with you, it's all about what we've been doing every week. Try to finish top 10. You know, we've been, like you said, last time we were here, we didn't have a fast car, and we still managed to sneak into the top 10. So, you know, we can get a top 10 out of this. Just a nice, quiet day will be good. I think we're gonna see a lot of green flag running today.
I know you've been asked this a lot this week, but how do you put the disappointment behind from last week and move forward? You know, today's a new day. You got to kind of put it behind you.
It's not a big deal. You know, it happened. At least it's showing where the team is heading, how our potential is getting better every week. And, you know, for us, it's all about trying to get into the chase and prepare ourselves if we get there.
And what does Wendy Venturini know that nobody else knows? She came on our show yesterday and changed her pick live on TV and picked you to win this race. What does she know that maybe some of us don't know?
I don't know. I know we got the same car as last week, but it's a different racetrack. So I know it's a good car, but I'll be honest with you, I think all of our cars right now are pretty good.
Well, Wendy Venturini has changed again live. She's changed her pick to Juan Pablo Montoya, but it'd be a good story to see him come back and win this week, JR.
Well, you know, Hermie, she is a two-time champion of the fantasy picks here on race day. When we come back, we'll tell you who has picked whom from yesterday and who we think is going to run well here at the Brickyard. We'll get you back to the Brickyard. At Pocono, I still have my mind on the Brickyard as well. We'll be back to Pocono live in a moment.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit HomeDepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Next week, the circuit heads to the Glen, where the 18 cruised to victory last August. Sitting outside the chase this season, Kyle hopes a few right turns can get his year back on track. Live from Watkins Glen, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
And Speed's live coverage of Watkins Glen starts on Friday at 11 a.m. Let's take a brief look at the fantasy standings with Hermie Sadler. Actually, I'm sorry, Kenny Wallace is the Herminator. He's on top of the standings. Then it's Wendell, Johnny TV, Senior Excitement, and the Hermalicious one dropped 2 positions last week with a very tough Brickyard. Now, the picks this week go like this. The Herminator has the 29. Wendy has the 42. Your race winner is going to be the 48. Senior Excitement has the 00, who he picked because it was raining, but he can't take it back now. And Hermie Sadler has gone with the fan favorite, the number 88. So there are your picks. There's the money where our mouth is. So now we got to get you down to the grid and see what is happening down there with our reporters, Wendy Venturini and Hermie Sadler. But we're going to start out with you, Wendy.
Thanks, John. And the reason I didn't pick the guy that I'm about to speak to is because I've already won with him this season, and I think he's going to be really, really fast today. Mark Martin, 4 wins this season. Can you be like Ron Hornaday in the Truck Series, go for 5 today?
Well, it wouldn't be 5 in a row, but I'd sure like to go for 5 today. You know, I think this team will do a better job than most, adapting to the changing conditions. You know, the racetrack will go through, I think, a lot of changes today because we didn't, you know, we haven't been on it, no rubber on it, and everything. So I think we'll do a good job. The car was good on Saturday, needed to be just a little bit better, and these guys are usually good for just a little bit more. So it's a long old race, and we're going to give it our best shot.
9th in points, 42 points to the good ahead of 12th. How much would make you a little bit more comfortable for a pad when we leave Pocono?
I'd like to have 150. That might be a little bit asking a little too much, but I don't expect to be comfortable. just don't see that. You know, the competition is so hot for that spot. All the guys are really, really running. You know, Biffle and Kenseth and Montoya and Kane and ourselves, and you know, we're just it's going to be a tough run down to Richmond.
All right, well, good luck to Mark Martin. I think you might expect to see him possibly in victory lane today. And another guy you could possibly see, a guy that's been very fast this weekend, is Ryan Newman. He's 7th in points. Of course, we're starting 5 points since qualifying was rained out, and Ryan Newman, and oh, we just totally interrupted a photo. Sorry, Ryan.
That's okay. I knew you were coming. We're trying to get it done.
Ryan Newman, how is your race car for today now that we have a very green racetrack?
It was going to be good yesterday. I think it'll be good today. I don't know. I mean, we're starting up front. We'll just have to maintain our track position. I think the car's pretty good, but you never know what's around you. So we're starting with the best up here, and we'll see if we can stay with them.
Quick, you going for a win, or are you going for a consistent finish for points?
Both.
Very good. Ryan Newman there. Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Wendy. And when I go to a pick, I'm in last place in fantasy standings. When I make a pick, I stick with him. And I drank some of that AMP energy drink yesterday. It's pretty good stuff.
It's hard to beat.
How about your car? Is that going to be hard to beat today?
Well, it's pretty fast. You know, we brought the same car from Indy, and it was running good there, and we've been running pretty good in practice here. Just seems like we've been here for a month, but we're ready to get started, ready to get the race going. Weather's great today, and we're starting kind of mid-pack, and be kind of tough to pass here, but hopefully we can work our way through the field on the racetrack and in the pits.
What kind of concerns do you have? This racetrack will probably change all day long. What kind of adjustability have you guys got in your race car?
Well, we got a few things, some spring rubbers and some air pressures and stuff that we can adjust out of the car that'll make the car faster, but which we should just start there anyways. But the track won't change a whole lot. You know, this place, you know, it's hard to describe it on regular television, but it's not one of my favorite tracks. But we're getting around there pretty good this weekend. We've improved on how we were running here from the last trip. Our teammates are really fast, and we want to win some races and help those guys as they get into the chase and figure out what we need to have for good, fast packages for those last 10 races.
Well, I did a good finish, too, so I'm riding along with you today. Give it your best shot. Wendy?
Thanks, Hermie. I'm with Kurt Busch, who starts 4th in Pocono. And Kurt, we know you're usually good at this racetrack. How's it going to be this Monday morning?
Yeah, we've raced Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays last year, or a couple years ago in Michigan. Hey, we've got a good car. The Miller Lite Dodge has been strong in practice. A couple guys are quicker than us, so we'll see how strategy comes into play. We want to beat them today.
All right, Kurt Busch, there you have it. Starts 4th today, and it should be an exciting finish when we finally go green this Monday morning. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot. And I'm just wondering, sitting up here at the desk with my friends, why Kenny Wallace is holding some fake flowers.
Jimmy Spencer says he wants to plant the flowers next race here.
Where'd they get these plastic things at? China? I shop the Home Depot. I get real flowers. Come on, Pocono.
All right. Jimmy, I think they'll have you up here to plant some flowers.
Yes, planting
Senior
the flowers.
Excitement will put on his gardener's gloves and come back up here a week before the next race next year.
That'd be
and
real,
pretty
too.
up the place a little bit. All right, real flowers from Jimmy Spencer and real racing, real fast here this afternoon at Pocono. 500 miles under beautiful sunny skies coming your way. Thanks for joining us for this special live extended edition of NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. We'll see you tonight on Speed in Victory Lane at 8 o'clock Eastern Time.